Prime Minister gives clarification on Winnie's current situation. MP Buncamper on 10-10-10. What is clear is that we weren't ready and the premise was not based on real time. And Minister of Romy says that private financing will be explored for his housing project. Those are the headlines for Friday, October the 16th, 2020. Good evening, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News. I'm Valerie Van Putten. And as usual, we have a full newscast for you this evening, so let's get started. In our first story, Minister of Romy, the Honorable Egbert J. Doran, responding to a question from the Voice of St. Martin's News about bringing life back to Phillipsburg and his housing project, the minister said that private financing will be explored. When asked about the amount that the project will cost, the minister says that they are still playing with the numbers, as it will be affordable quality homes and not social or public housing. Meanwhile, Minister of Finance, the Honorable Adwal Irion, also interjected to the question posed.
With respect to how much the project will cost, we are still busy playing with the numbers because as I mentioned, it's affordable quality homes. So we want to really make it just that, affordable, and not social or anything like that. Because when people hear that government is involved in a project, they always think, social housing. This is affordable quality homes. I'm trying my best to make it as affordable as possible. So I would not like to release any numbers at this point. With respect to exploring private-public partnerships, that is indeed the case. And today is to serve as an introduction to the plans. And in a subsequent release, everything will be highlighted and defined. I will hold a separate press conference to break down everything so that the general public can be informed on how we plan to move forward with this. As I indicated, this is the ways that we are using to stimulate the economy because, of course, we know that tourism is our main pillar and there's a lot of unemployment now. And once you get the construction booming, it will definitely see that domino effect that will trickle down into the community.
The minister also mentioned that we also had meetings prior to this in terms of financing and so forth. But I believe one part that the minister forgot to mention that even up to last night he was discussing, the minister has taken the opportunity to start research, because I remember the time he came to me, he questioned what is affordable, and everyone is showing out numbers on affordable housing. And he came with that question to me, and I said that's a good question, and I think that should be a premise on build the pricing for these houses. And the minister has started the research on what is affordable for St. Martin. Every country has a different level of affordable based on income from individuals. So I know the minister has started that process. To add to the question from Mr. Civilian.
And member of the St. Martin Anti-Poverty Platform, Claire Elshot, responding to the Minister of Romy's announcement that he will be developing quality homes, caught everyone by surprise when he presented his vision. Mrs. Elshot says that the minister is not targeting the needy with these homes, and that is a major concern within the community. Affordable housing, which is very much needed, so many have been displaced since Hurricane Irma.
Minister Egbert Doran caught everyone by surprise when he presented his vision to address the need for affordable housing. He presented a project proposal to bring life into Phillipsburg with the construction of 114 quality residential units, a green area, a new parliament and government building, alongside commercial units and a parking garage. What is the main argument the minister used for this project? We quote, "For many years, affordable housing has been a major concern within the community. The situation has worsened due to the economic impacts resulting from the passing of Hurricanes Irma and Maria in 2017. Residents have communicated their discontent to the minister pertaining to the lack of affordable housing. Thus, there is an urgent need for quality, affordable housing. In the government program through the NAP, NAUPP, sorry, let me say that over again. In the governing program, though, of the NAUPP coalition 2020-2024, nowhere in the program is the construction or rebuilding of affordable housing mentioned. Nothing is written about the 13,000 to 15,000 homes structurally damaged by Irma, which have not yet been rebuilt. The Minister of Public Housing wants to bring life to Phillipsburg, but until today, Minister of Romy, neither the Prime Minister, who has the NRPB in her portfolio, has not addressed life in our neighborhoods of the poor and needy in deplorable and non-resilient housing conditions. Furthermore, the minister does not want to call the housing project social homes. In other words, he is not targeting the poor and the needy to go and live in these housing units in Phillipsburg.
And now in news out of French Saint Martin, due to technical problems with public procurement and despite sufficient cash flow, the Collectivité de Saint Martin was unable to pay the balance of services to some 15 contracted companies. In view of a more important activity with the reconstruction, the territorial institution has taken the measure of the undersizing of the public order service. Reorganization work is underway, and in order to be able to settle certain services performed during this transitional period, the legal route through the interim provisions procedure has proven to be the only way to achieve payment of these services within a reasonable time. President of the Collectivité, Daniel Gibbs, has indicated it on several occasions in recent months that public procurement is encountering organizational difficulties and requires in-depth reform to allow the Collectivité to meet growing purchasing needs with complete legal certainty and to deploy its public policies. For the benefit of citizens, on the one hand, this is to allow the administration to ramp up in terms of the skills assigned to it and to structure public procurement to organize and secure its purchases, the release reads in part. And still to come, the first President of Parliament recalls why we chose to go to a referendum. We'll have the details to that story and much more when SXM Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News, and I'm Valerie Van Putten. In other news at this time, Prime Minister of St. Martin, the Honorable Sylvia Jacobs, responding to a media question about the debt of Winair, which is a government-owned company. As shareholder representative of Winair, the Prime Minister gave a clarification of Winair's current situation.
Are you aware of this situation at Winair? Not paying its vendors? And I would like to know, since the pandemic, did the management board, for example, Cleaver, Gibbs, Boncamper, did they waive their salaries? Did they become good corporate citizens and say, listen, we're in a pandemic, we're not going to accept our salaries like they expect the companies that they're doing business with to do, not write off their debts?
The Council of Ministers is aware of every nitty-gritty that is going on within the government-owned companies in general. I can tell you no. We have a meeting. We have been updated from the very beginning from Winair as to their possible future financial challenges. They had already reached agreements with their workers. They had also already had discussions with all their stakeholders prior to, and this was early during the lockdown period, as to their projections. They put forth what their cuts were, and they were in complete compliance with the cuts as proposed by the government of St. Martin. So that was not an issue. What I can say is that with the reduced air flow or air traffic to their main hubs, they have been facing financial challenges and have requested financial injections from the shareholder, which, as you know, we as majority shareholder were unable to provide. The Netherlands, as far as I know, also shareholder has not responded. So there have been letters back and forth, and there is a meeting forthcoming. And when we have more information, we'll be able to update as such.
And in other news at this time, in his Constitution Day address, which was broadcasted on October the 12th, Member of Parliament, the Honorable Claudius Boncamper, in his message, shared his thoughts about the historic day in St. Martin. The Member of Parliament said that when we thought that we would be better off, what is clear is that we weren't ready, and the premise was not based on real time.
By now, I believe the people of St. Martin have come to know me as someone who speaks based on facts. I do not shoot from the hip, hoping to hit a target. Now, nor will I speak today about 10-10-10 by pretending like I know exactly what's on the mind of our people 10 years later. The same way I prepared for other meetings is the same way I prepared for this one. I went to the people and I listened. So, Mr. Chairman, today I will share my thoughts about this historic day in St. Martin's history, the years that followed, the perspective of our people, and my thoughts as we forge ahead in building our country. The premise that we entered into this new constitutional status was that we would be better off. Better off how, and why did we believe such? Was it that we thought Curaçao was the bully in the former country, the Netherlands Antilles, and we could work much easier with the Netherlands? Did we foresee that the fights the Netherlands Antilles put up against the Netherlands on our behalf were real? What is very clear is that we weren't ready and our premise wasn't based on real time. I say real time as we seemingly weren't aware of what all the Netherlands Antilles meant to St. Martin as an island and a partner in the Antilles. I myself will be honest enough to state that I truly believed in the government that was there, that we were ready for 10-10-10. Today, I must say I was wrong. We weren't ready, nor were we made ready by those that gave us the opportunity to become autonomous. We all failed, and today we hear screams so well locally as across the ocean that the charter failed and we cannot afford our autonomy. Sad thing is that our premise could have been right had we prepared ourselves well before 10-10-10 and get the necessary entities and people in place to ensure that we could have executed our autonomy in a manner acceptable into today's world. In giving me his perspective, culturist Fernando Clark summed up 10-10-10 as a delicious pie in the sky, just waiting for us. He said 10 years later, we are not sure if we have seen the pie in the sky, if we have tasted it, or if we are busy eating it. He said most people are baffled and completely lost as to what our new status delivered for the people. The general public, he continued, are simply asking questions that were promised to them in the campaign for 10-10-10. Where's all the money that we used to send to the central government in Curaçao that is now supposed to remain in St. Martin? Where are all the full self-governance and the autonomy that we were supposed to enjoy after 10-10-10? Where is the mature leadership that we were looking forward to? Where are the improved social and economic conditions for our country? Is this status our final destination, or is it a road to another destiny? Is 10-10-10 the road to independence, or is it simply a dead-end road?
And in other news, as the first president of Parliament, PPA leader Gracita Arundel, speaking at DCOM's Constitutional Day special, she recalled how St. Martin really needed help and why they chose to go for the referendum.
Before 1994, when we had that first referendum, 1993 in St. Martin was a very trying time as well. We had a lot of crime. There were bank robberies, I have to say that, because if you check in the newspapers, you would see that. And at the time, we never had our own Minister of Justice. Our Minister of Justice at the time was Mr. Knoppel, if I'm not mistaken. This was 1993, so before the referendum of 1994. So the discussions were going back and forth with regards to how St. Martin was being represented and if we were getting our fair share in developing our nation under the Antilles flag. I remember a sentence that Mr. Knoppel said at the time as Minister of Justice, and when St. Martin asked for assistance, and if my memory serves me correct, he stated, "Nipa nos mes nothing." So we don't even have for ourselves. And that was at a time when St. Martin really needed help from the police, judicial help to really curb the rising crime at the time, 1993. If my memory serves me right, the result at the time was status quo, which meant staying within the Netherlands Antilles. And there were different proposals that were submitted at the time, restructuring of the Netherlands Antilles. There was a party in Curaçao, the PAR, P-A-R, Pro Antillas Reestructurar. So those were the sentiments. They did a very good campaign from their side to say, hey, no, we should stay together and work on those issues that brought animosity between the governments, not between the people, between the governments, in regards to how we shared the tasks and responsibilities that would benefit the people of St. Martin. And a few days later, so I feel that the decision makers at the time didn't really take the heed on really working on that restructuring process that would keep us stronger together. It didn't work out. I think it is for the future generations to really go deeper into that and analyze why that didn't happen. So the result was, in the year 2000, not even 6 years later, we had a new referendum. And that is where the people chose, the majority of the people chose, I think this 69%, almost 70% that chose to separate from the Antillean constellation and become a country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands.
And in other news at this time, Social and Health Insurances SZV is preparing to open a public tender to source regional and international healthcare institutions that would provide medical care abroad to SZV insured. Over the years, many more medical specialties have become available locally. However, there is still a significant need to access medical care abroad. A side-by-side comparison of incoming proposals from the healthcare institutions will be made. Criteria such as qualifications, costs, patient communication, safety protocols, and care procedures will be reviewed and evaluated. SZV has identified the urgency to finalize the optimization of the medical referrals abroad process. These efforts started several years ago with the introduction of new policies that take better consideration for the logistical challenges, language barriers, patient experience, and foremost, the quality of care and local follow-up treatment. At present, the global impact of COVID-19 has posed even more restrictions for access to medical institutions abroad. The current impact and mitigation of this for future crisis situations will also be considered in the tender process. Grant Thornton has been commissioned to provide support to SZV and applicable shareholders. both the optimization of the medical referrals abroad process as well as providing oversight over the tender procedure. Now, turning to our weather forecast for October the 16th, 2020. Lingering moisture and instability in the wake of a tropical wave will account for cloudy periods, isolated showers, and possible thunderstorms across the region. Some showers may be moderate to heavy, therefore residents and users of areas prone to flooding should be vigilant. Seas are expected to peak near 5 feet during the next few days. So the outlook through Sunday morning, partly cloudy, becoming cloudy at times with isolated showers. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, French Saint-Martin will be testing on the Sandy Ground Bridge. And we'll have a detail to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
The innovative Banco Matico contactless smart card. Your Banco Matico smart card is now equipped with a contactless feature for payments, so get ready to tap and go. Contactless payments are fast, easy, secure, and accepted worldwide at all Maestro-enabled contactless terminals. Tap for transactions equivalent to or less than 100 NAF, or the US dollar equivalent. You will receive notifications via email anytime you tap. Tap, tap, and pay fast with WIB. For more information, visit our website at wib-bank.net. Tap and go with your partner in progress.
Welcome back, viewers. You're watching SXM Daily News. And in this COVID-related item, as of October the 15th, there were 8 persons who tested positive for COVID-19, increasing the total active cases to 58. The total number of confirmed cases is now 737. The Collective Prevention Services, CPS, are monitoring 56 people in home isolation. 2 patients are hospitalized at the St. Martin Medical Center, and the total number of deaths due to COVID-19 remains at 22. The number of people recovered since the first case surfaced on St. Martin remains at 657. 69 people are in quarantine based on contact tracing investigations carried out by CPS of persons who may have been in contact with any of the active cases. CPS has tested 1,132 travelers arriving at the Princess Juliana International Airport and 4,736 people throughout the community. As the numbers continue to fluctuate, CPS will continue to actively execute its contact tracing measures. As the numbers continue to fluctuate, it is important that we continue to wear our masks in public places, practice the 2 meters social distancing, sanitize and wash your hands frequently, and refrain from mass gatherings in efforts to slow the spread of the virus. And now in more news out of French Saint-Martin. French Saint-Martin will be testing on the Sandy Ground Bridge, and as such, the community of Saint-Martin is therefore informing the public of temporary closure of the Sandy Ground Bridge between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m. from Monday, October the 19th, to Thursday, October the 22nd, 2020. These 4 nights of work will allow the company Sochatras in charge of the repair site of the structure to carry out lifting tests on the structure. Road traffic will be closed and during the technical testing. The territorial police are responsible for the application of the territorial decree in force. The collectivity of Saint-Martin apologizes in advance for any inconvenience that this closure may cause. And still to come, more of the youths that perform to celebrate Constitution Day. We'll have the details to that story when SXM Daily News returns. Welcome back, viewers. And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening and also this week, a number of performances by local groups was displayed to celebrate our 10th anniversary of St. Martin attaining our separate status. We will now share with you one of the other cultural performances by one of our local dance groups, which was produced by the Department of Communications, DCOM.
A disaster overpowering our lives, and yet many days of heartache and much pain. The light don't seem so bright to shine the way. The bitterness, intense resentfulness.
Our tears were counted, we were so afraid. The darkness fast to leave trailing the light. Our lives are not for us to dwell within. At break of day we found no more existence. Yes, we have overcome so beautiful. Our people have struggled, endeavored for lovely St. Martin.
The fresh infective sunshine warms our waters, the brightest white sand beach you've ever seen. The grass so green, our flowers sing delighted. A new hope born within each one of us.
A bright new life we're looking forward to. A positive prediction we demand. Generations to develop from ancestors. To love, adore, admire, and respect. Yes, we have overcome.
So beautiful. Our people have struggled, endeavored for lovely St. Martin. Yes, we have overcome consternation. Her world's most feared with our chins up high. Enchanting, so beautiful. Our people have struggled, endeavored for lovely St. Martin. Yes, we have overcome consternation. Bird world's most feared with our chins up high.
And with that, viewers, brings us to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News for today and also this week. I'm Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for joining me. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. Simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you so much for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again next week.